Good morning and welcome to CFO Coffee Talk, brought to you by the Florida CFO Group. Today's episode is the human edge in the age of AI, and our guest is Anastasia Montejano, creator of the Change Breakthrough, which helps leaders move from resistance to results. Anastasia is a global change strategist, an award-winning author, and a keynote speaker. Welcome, Anastasia.
Thanks so much, Phil. I'm delighted to be here.
Well, I'm so glad that we were connected by our guest in episode 2, Maria Goraitanandia. Thank you, Maria, if you're listening. When I read your bio after Maria introduced us, I read about how you were affected by a $5 billion acquisition you had to deal with. And I thought, wow, that's my line. We both have the same background in dealing with monstrous, horrendous transactions. And I thought a good way for us to start this morning is for us to swap stories. You go first, Anastasia.
I love that. Well, Phil, as you know, $5 billion changes everything: strategies, systems, structures, and even the people. But what surprised me most was how often it wasn't the systems that broke under pressure, it was human capacity. I had been leading people transformation for 2 decades across 5 continents, and I watched how incredibly smart leaders hit a wall. Not because they lacked talent or effort, but because they ran out of the capacity to adapt. And I learned myself how easily the pace of change can push even strong leaders to the edge. You see, I thought it was change nimble after all that experience, but this merger, it was brutal. Org charts, systems, even values were shifting overnight. And wasn't leading change. I was barely surviving it. And one night I walked out of the building with my badge in hand, ready to quit. And I remember standing there, exhausted, angry, questioning everything, because I'd built my career helping others lead through change, and yet I was ready to walk away from my own. And it wasn't that I didn't want the change, it was capacity. My ability to adapt had been maxed out. So, Phil, that's my story. Let's hear your brutal $5 billion integration story.
Yeah. My goes back very early in my career. I was, this was 1987, and I was with Burroughs Corporation, which we had grown from 2 billion to 5 billion, then went out and acquired another $5 billion company with what seemed on paper to be a brilliant move to consolidate 2 behemoths and eliminate $1 billion of overhead, which would fall, of course, straight to the bottom line and help our stock price. Of course, there's a human side of those transactions, and the human side that was overlooked was that many of the 40,000 people we let go would go out and find ways to compete against us, taking our high revenue margin streams for their benefit. And those of us that were left weren't too crazy about watching the downward trajectory of the business, and we started sending out our resumes. And I think it points out that what you need to factor in the human aspects of any transaction to proceed. And that's why I think your change breakthrough is so spot on. So tell us about that moment where you created the change breakthrough process and how it was born.
Yes. Well, when I was ready to walk away, I finally paused long enough to listen to what my own resistance was trying to tell me. And that's the moment Change Breakthrough was born. It's a system that leaders can use to build the human edge. That's the term we've used, but it's adaptability, resilience, agility, and engagement. Those uniquely human capabilities that can ignite performance in all this relentless disruption. I'm sure every entrepreneur listening knows that feeling when growth starts to move faster than you can keep up. And that's not failure, that's actually feedback. Because the real work, it's not managing change, as we like to say, it's building the capacity and the adaptability to lead through it again and again. Because when resistance shows up, whether it's yours or others, it's the first signal that adaptability is actually under pressure.
And the pace of change in the age of AI, all I can say is wow. What can you say about it?
Well, I would echo, wow, wow. We're living through the fastest acceleration in human history, what economists call the age of acceleration. Now, this is 20,000 years of progress condensed into a single century. And that means it's going to be in your and my lifetimes. And the next 10 years is going to be the most dramatic because we're only 1% into compound growth. Think of that upward curve that's caused by AI, data, and automation reinventing how work gets done. So let me give you an example. A few years ago, I was in Europe at a beautiful lakeside hotel and was surprised to be served my creme brulee by a robot. Well, now in LA, they're commonplace. Last year at a conference, everyone was taking self-driving taxis. And then just last week, I was in the gym, looked up at the TV monitor, and the news showed a flying car being tested at our local airport. This isn't science fiction. This is Tuesday morning news.
So, what should business owners be doing to prepare for the age of AI?
Me and this mic keeps bumping around. When I talk about the human edge, I'm talking about those four capabilities that are going to keep us steady when change is not going to wait. Again, those are adaptability, resilience, agility, and engagement. So I wanted you to think of it like sailing. You can't control the wind. It's going to shift, accelerate, and change direction without any warning. What matters is how you respond. So adaptability, it's the sail, how quickly you can catch the changing wind. Resilience is the hull. It's the body of the boat that sits in the water. And that's the strength that keeps you steady when there is rough water. Agility is like the rudder. It's how your ability to change direction without losing momentum. And then engagement is the crew, the shared focus that keeps everyone aligned when our conditions are shifting. So when you're sailing and the wind changes, you're not going to fight it. You just adjust the sails and keep moving. And that's the foundation of change breakthrough. It's building the capacity to adjust, not to react.
Love the sailing analogy. We're here in Florida where hurricanes create rough waters, and you're in California
Mm.
where maybe it's earthquakes creating tsunamis. Who knows? Uh,
Yes.
but you haven't fallen into the ocean yet, so that's good. Tell us about your change breakthrough framework and how it works.
Terrific. So, change breakthrough gives leaders a strategy and a framework that they can use. And we scale it so anyone in your organization can build the capacity to handle change with confidence. And we do that through three core shifts. First, we start by identifying the friction. Now, this is every team, every organization has resistance, mixed signals, and places where people are stretched too thin. So, I use a science backed diagnostic to review where alignment is strong, to understand where it might be cracking and needs to be shoring up, and where the system may be quietly slowing people down. So through this, leaders get a data-driven view of what's limiting performance. And then we disrupt the patterns that are draining capacity. So there are always patterns, especially in culture. It's how we do things to be successful. But there may be mindsets, habits, and behaviors that quietly pull people off track. And so once leaders can see those patterns, they can shift them. And that's when communication sharpens, you're going to see decisions accelerate, and teams regain the momentum that helps to fuel the performance that we need. And then we work on building the capability so that they can handle, all of us can handle change better. As you get that clarity through understanding where that friction points are, and then you can help to dismantle some of those old patterns because you're able to continually interrupt them. Teams then develop that adaptive muscle to help navigate change in real time. So the framework is simple in its goal. It's to make the human edge repeatable, scalable, and embedded in your daily decisions. Because when you strengthen human capacity, you're not just helping people handle change, you give the business an advantage competitors can't copy.
Yep. And the stakes are high. Talk about the cost of getting it wrong.
Well, they are high, Phil. And here's what the data tells us. Gartner found that support for change has dropped from 74% to 36% in just a few years. That's the fatigue we're all seeing People saying, we want to contribute, we just can't keep up with this pace. Then Gartner found that only 23% of employees are engaged worldwide. 23%, which means that 3 out of 4 people are checked out, burned out, or tuned out. And that's not just disengagement, that's potential trapped inside our system. And the cost of this is massive. It's trillions lost in disengagement and nearly 1 billion lost to failed change every year. So I don't know about you if you've seen this, Phil, but for too long, those skills that we talked about, adaptability, resilience, agility, and engagement, they've been labeled as soft skills. But the data makes it clear. These are hard performance drivers when change won't wait. And the numbers are signals,
Yeah.
signals that the next real performance edge isn't technological, it's human. It's the part that technology can't automate.
Well, I love how you said earlier that failure is feedback, uh,
Yeah.
and something we have to adapt to and be resilient about. But we got to be agile and engaged because, hey, in the age of AI, that's our new future, our new now.
Yes.
Uh, Tell us what you know about the Florida CFO Group.
Well, it's an astounding group, I have to tell you, made up of incredible individuals. What I love about your group is that you're strategic partners for the businesses you serve. So you bring that financial leadership to companies in those key growth moments where you may be scaling, raising capital, or even preparing for an exit before a full-time CFO is needed. And what stands out about your group is how you connect the strategy to the numbers so that the leaders you're working with can make decisions with the clarity and the confidence they really need.
And I'll add that I'm so proud of the way my partners are stepping up to the challenge of diving into the AI world. We're hiring top-notch coaches, a top-notch coach to bring us along, and we're finding that's really amplifying ourselves because uh, the as the pace keeps quickening, it's so beneficial for us to find ways to have tools that handle the more mundane, time consuming aspects of our job so we have more time for the strategy and leadership aspects of our business. So uh, I love the what we're talking about, human edge and AI, because they go so in hand in hand. AI done right gives us more time to give attention to the human things that you're talking about, which are so important.
And I
Uh,
love how you're on the leading edge of AI because you're able to take all that knowledge and directly translate that to your clients and your customers. And that's invaluable, especially if they may not have had that chance to get to that yet.
so tell us the kinds of businesses that you're helping with your change framework.
So if anyone is facing fast change, rising pressure on the teams, or they want to strengthen the human edge, that's the kind of company and organizations that I work with. I often work with Fortune 500, but I also work on both ends of the scale. So if you're facing fast change, we definitely need to talk.
And geographically, the world's your oyster.
I have worked with international clients, yes. It is more likely that I will be working more directly with national clients, but I am certainly open to international conversations.
Very good. What's the best way for businesses that want to adopt the change framework and breakthrough framework and connect with you? How can they reach out to you?
Yes, well, I want to encourage anyone who might be interested, just let's have a conversation. You can reach out to me directly through LinkedIn, my website, or email, and you'll find all of those in the show notes. I want to encourage the conversation because it may be an exploratory conversation that I can provide some insight, whether we work together or not. I'm really here to serve and provide value. So I do start with a brief conversation to understand where your biggest friction points are and whether I'm the right partner to help you. But I'm here in service to you.
Very good. Anastasia, thank you so much for sharing your insights with our audience. It's our tradition at our CFO Coffee Talk to ask our guests to always leave the audience with a one sentence key takeaway. What's yours?
Mine is build the human edge to ignite performance in relentless change. If you're feeling stretched by change, it means the capacity piece needs attention. And the good news is we can build that.
Very good. Thanks again, Anastasia. And I hope our audience comes back next week for another episode of CFO Coffee Talk. Bye, everybody.
Thanks so much.